Hello and welcome to No Truth for You, the book, the podcast, the show on IIB, the Insolence in Broadcasting Network. Do you literally believe Donald Trump is literally Hitler?
Donald J. Trump is now President of the United States. President Obama.
Do you think what is a woman is a trick question?
Not in this context.
So
I'm not a
the
biologist.
meaning of the word woman.
If you believe men are paid 30% more than women for the same job, you're an idiot. And if you think women with penises have the same problem, you're a liberal.
You are one pathetic loser.
Are you bewildered as Joe Biden, choosing between sniffing an ice cream cone and licking a little girl's head, to find that the most obvious election theft in history is even more obvious than when Kim Jong-un got 100% of the vote?
This year's election was, quote, the most secure in history.
And $1 billion, $300 million, trillion, $300 million.
Are you as baffled as Tony Fauci's investment broker to learn that vaccines that don't vaccinate and occasionally blow up the hearts of soccer stars with 0.004% body fat?
Eyes open and rolled back, the face of sudden cardiac arrest. This is what sudden cardiac arrest in an athlete looks like.
Please get vaccinated.
Leisure-like activity.
Og hvor valget.
I'm sorry.
Are still a great investment, since liberals are lining up for more. Are you perplexed as Neil deGrasse Tyson and Al Gore putting their large, empty heads together to learn that climate models are 100% capricious and corrupt?
One of the great challenges in this world is knowing enough about a subject to think you're right.
Ocean level will rise to reach her left elbow.
Antarctica hasn't warmed in the last 70 years, and the ice sheet is actually expanding.
But not enough about the subject to know you're wrong.
As actual data shows, carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere have never been lower. And if cut in half, all plant life would die. Although there's good news, so would all the vegans.
You know what the animals would say to you if they could speak? Don't fucking kill me!
Where'd my tooth go?
Liberals believe the dumbest lies as long as those lies sound smart, might save the planet, or scare the out of them. The deeper reasons why are even bigger and even dumber than believing 5 masks provide 5 times protection from anything but stupid.
I mean, that's a special kind of stupid.
Welcome to the No Truth for You show and the cleverly named No Truth for You book on the Insolence in Broadcasting Network. I am your host, J.D. Vono, broadcasting behind the silver-plated IIB microphone. And although I am not as rich and famous and influential as Michael Moore for competitive eating, I smell better than the conflicting propaganda about the joys of socialism and starving to death, same thing, given from a guy who appears to be eating himself to death. Next thing you know, we'll be getting gun control mandates handed down from size 24 pantsuits with armed security.
Everyone I know has a big butt.
In the first 3 quarters of 2023, she spent about $130,000 on security.
But wait, there's more morons. We're at the tipping point, like when Democrat Congressman Hank Johnson worried that the island of Guam would capsize.
My fear is that the whole island will become so overly populated that it will capsize.
For those of you in real
And Hank, that means tip over. Like Guam, America has reached the tipping point, unsustainably weighted down by tons upon tons of stupid, like Whoopi Goldberg and Ana Navarro, sitting on the dessert table backstage at The View. Until the whole thing comes crashing down.
When you get finished with those jeans and decide you don't like them, give them to me. I'm going to make 2 pairs.
Barbara. So let's continue our rapid test for liberalism.
My face was totally glued.
Right.
But now I've worked most of that off.
Check out the big brain on Brad.
Are you befuddled by the fact that electric cars do not derive free power from magic holes in the wall?
Excuse me?
Are you astonished as AOC to learn that the Earth revolves around the sun and not her?
An embarrassment to the time and people of this country.
Or that garbage disposals are not sink monsters?
Okay, everyone, I need your help because I flipped this switch and it made that noise and it scared the daylights out of me.
Good guys with guns save lives and statistical significance. Except Uvalde, Texas, of course. The real racists have always been Democrats.
Today, our country has lost a true American original, my friend and mentor, Robert C. Byrd.
Hey, boys!
Look what I got here. Hey, where are the white women at?
Being anti-white is not anti-racist.
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men. He wasn't wrong.
Slavery was ended, well, mostly, by Western civilization and not started by the first white guy to stub his racist toe on Plymouth Rock. Are you flabbily flabbergasted as Whoopi Goldberg, finding out that all-you-can-eat buffets don't last forever?
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life.
Or upon learning that Barack Obama isn't actually Jesus in mom jeans?
They look at our president as one who wears mom jeans.
All right, let's try walking.
Too swishy?
Equity is the opposite of equality.
I have a dream. My poor little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
Wrong!
Too male, too pale, and too stale.
White supremacist is the most lethal terrorist threat in the homeland.
Y Quensuocha, Ifamaje. He said, sorry, white devil, but he must kill you now.
White Republican suburban women are now going to vote Republican.
Why?
It's almost like roaches voting for Raid.
And transgenderism is not based on scientific reality.
And an attendant from the restroom asked to see my ID. They didn't ask anybody else.
Well, at least that wasn't weird.
But transhuman is, and neither are very pretty.
Blasting better heads on boils.
Do you think that anyone who disagrees with you is literally Hitler?
He is echoing Hitler's rhetoric. He's literally...
Take him literally and not seriously.
You keep using the word.
Take the tweet so seriously and not figuratively.
When you are literally the president of the United States, we're going to take you seriously and we're going to take you literally.
Literally? Literally. Literally? There's literally nothing in this world that you cannot do.
No better word than stupid.
Literally.
I don't think it means what you think it means.
And a homophobic, misogynist xenophobe who drinks bleach, or at least should? Are you perplexed as Paul Pelosi's hammer to find that science is not spelled F-A-U-C-I?
I agree.
Just as you are unsettled by the notion that in the good old days, say since Galileo or a couple of weeks before the China flu, science was never actually settled.
But the debate is settled. Climate change is a fact.
The major scientific myth in Copenhagen is that, quote, the science is settled.
87%.
97%. 97% of scientists agree.
97% of scientists agree.
Climate changes.
Climate changes.
Duh.
The only science that I know is settled is that CO2 is going in the atmosphere and it's not warming up as fast as the models said it was supposed to.
The entire North Polar ice cap could be completely ice-free within the next 5 to 7 years.
He's embarrassing.
The science determines what is the correct answer. CDC recommends that people wear masks.
The most rigorous and comprehensive analysis of scientific studies conducted on the efficacy of masks. Its conclusions, said Tom Jefferson, the Oxford epidemiologist who is the lead author, were unambiguous. There is just no evidence that masks, make any difference.
Yeah, but there are other studies.
The only science I know that was settled was methane was supposed to be increasing at a constant rate in the atmosphere. The rate of increase slowed, stopped, and even went negative for a couple of years recently.
This is all wrong.
If we lose the ice caps, you know how high the water will be? It would come up to the Statue of Liberty's elbow.
And the ice sheet is actually expanding.
Shit. Oh, hell, let's just do what we always do. Show me the money!
We're still putting 162 million tons into it every single day, and the accumulated amount is now trapping as much extra heat as would be released by 600,000 Hiroshima-class atomic bombs exploding every single day on the Earth. That's what's boiling the oceans.
We know that. That's a fact.
Temperature's up 4 degrees since what's called the Little Ice Age, hundreds of years ago.
Could you repeat that, sir?
Little Ice Age.
Scientists at Columbia University and the University of Victoria report the Antarctic continent has not warmed in the last 7 decades.
And the rain bombs and sucking the moisture out of the land and creating the droughts and melting the ice and raising the sea level.
Idiot.
Dr. Robert Malone is the inventor of the mRNA technology. He shared a video about supposed harmful effects of the Pfizer jab.
Totally politically motivated.
By 2023, we will reduce the number of people in the world by 50%. I think today this dream is becoming.
Did you hear that?
We will reduce the number of people in the world by 50%.
The only conclusion one can reasonably come to, get vaccinated. It will protect you.
Liar! Liar!
Malone has noted that Pfizer's 6-month data showed that its COVID vaccine caused more illness than it prevents.
Look at the xenophobia and political authoritarian trends that have come from just a few million refugees.
All right, zip it.
What about a billion?
Zip it. Zip.
Also observed that over the past several decades, Antarctic sea ice has modestly expanded.
The polar bears are thriving, as you said. In fact, 50 years ago, there were only 5,000 to 10,000 of these species. Today, there are over 25,000.
Right, okay, people, you have to tell me these things, okay? Throw me a frickin' bone here.
But Copenhagen will be built upon a house of sand, and a house that's not warming up very much, I might add.
How dare you!
Sudden death among healthy working-age people worldwide is skyrocketing.
All-cause mortality increased more the higher the 2021 vaccine uptake.
Tell us about some of these unexpected sudden deaths. It seems like there are a lot of them. I mean, just from a Google search, you can find like a lot of 12, 14, 16, 18-year-olds that are just dropping dead suddenly.
Lausanne Institute in Switzerland that showed over the course of 38 years, they found 1,101 sudden athletic deaths, which is about 29 a year globally. We'd be lucky to have a month with just 29 since 2021.
Please get vaccinated.
Yes, Satan.
In other words, countries with more COVID-19 vaccines in 2021 had higher excess mortality.
All right, that's bad. Okay. All right, important safety tip.
Because I represent science.
You dick!
And are you continually dumbfounded as Stacey Abrams, not counting calories or counting votes very well, to be homeschooled with the knowledge that wearing 3 pathogen-soaked masks while inserting a supersized rectal swab alone in your Prius is, well, gross, and not a fantastically efficacious COVID remedy?
I agree.
Although promising short-term studies show the combination as an undeniably great common-sense prophylactic.
Could have done without that.
Are you glib, snarky, and smug despite being an idiot?
If you're asking, or the woman who, if we fall for, a bunch of okey doke.
He really is an idiot.
Are you a glib, snarky, smug, arrogantly opinionated idiot?
Well, no, Don. You got to let us ask questions. You can't just talk. No, you got to let us actually ask.
No, that's what you. I'm sorry, baby. That's what you said. You said. But you know what's horrible? When people who shouldn't be here end up murdering the children of Americans.
Putin, Russia. Hates Russia. Putin, Russia.
Donald. You're not going to keep talking. We will go to break.
That's one other question, Mr. President. If I may ask one other question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's
Mr.
enough.
President, I was going
enough.
to ask one of the other folks.
That's enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr.
Excuse
President.
me. That's enough.
When the president of the United States whips up people to beat the hell out of people, say goodbye.
If you keep talking, we're going to ask you questions. All right, go to break. Go to break, everybody. Go to break. Go to break right now.
Mr. President, I had one other question, if I may ask, on the Russia investigation. Are you concerned that you may have?
I'm not concerned about anything with the Russian investigation because it's a hoax.
Russia.
That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried?
I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Are you worried about indictments coming down in this event?
Tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person.
Are you a glib, snarky, smug, idiot White House press secretary who spends more time preparing her hair than preparing her brain?
Douglas Diamond, who won the Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences. The Vice President will visit the DMZ. Nearly 70 years since the Korean armistice.
Oh my God, if I possessed the capacity to be embarrassed.
Has been out there to shut down the pipeline of Nord Stream 1.
So guess what I want? A new brain.
Are you a glib, snarky, smug, idiot transportation secretary who spends more time on lactation vacation?
Any man in an important position who takes 6 months of leave for a newborn is a loser.
Nipple pain. And then checking into toxic waste fireballs shooting from derailed choo-choos.
What are your qualifications?
Well, I attended Juilliard. I'm a graduate of the Harvard Business School. I travel quite extensively.
I've also had a personal love of transportation ever since childhood. I would convince a friend to travel on Amtrak.
We're going to be here day in, day out, year in, year out.
Why are you smiling like that?
I just like to smile. Smiling's my favorite.
Make work your favorite. That's your favorite, okay?
Okay.
Buttigieg addressed criticism for not coming to East Palestine sooner.
I felt strongly about this and could have expressed that sooner.
Work is your new favorite. Fine.
Are you an obtuse vice president who took the term political whore literally?
Here I come.
Are you a glib, snarky, arrogantly opinionated idiot still on CNN and MSNBC even though no one is watching?
Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. Well, as you've seen, they caught him. They got him. They finally got the guy.
Specific allegations, specific conversations, describe specific anecdotes. At least some of them check out when they double check this work. Well, it's maybe worth focusing again on what the point of this is, on what the bottom line is of this dossier.
This was a fake, phony dossier that started all of this, funded by the Democrats, and then sold, again, by those very same Democrats to the American people through the mainstream media as being real. It wasn't real, and now Bob Mueller says it wasn't real.
Duh. Forget all of the salacious personal stuff. Forget all the stuff that made the White House so mad when this was published, right? The bottom line of this dossier, the bottom line allegation, the point of it.
Now, a summary released by Attorney General William Barr says Mueller found no collusion between President Trump or his campaign in Russia.
The point of this is they colluded.
The man responsible for the attempted January 6th coup was taken into federal custody in Washington, D.C.
Shut up.
And of course, we've known all along just who the prime suspect was, who we should be on the lookout for.
A nutless monkey could do your job.
Are you a glib, snarky, smug, arrogant idiot still on late-night comedy shows and morning idiot shows like The View, even though no one should be watching?
Welcome to The Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert. As you may have noticed, none of you are here right now.
Are you a mentally ill, glib, snarky, smug idiot who teaches kids that they can and should change their sex?
Hall pass, please. Where do you need to go? Home? I can't put home, Michael. What's going on? Some kids found out that I use they, them pronouns and they've been making fun of me all class. Which students?
And I don't want my son involved in what goes on here.
Jace and Max. Okay, I want you to take this hall pass and go out to the courtyard, smell the petunias, do some deep breathing, meditation.
Will you shut up?
Of course. Jace, Max, I need you to come over and see me for a momentito, please.
Whether it's murder, mayhem, or rage, don't complain. It's a pain. Keep it gay.
In the meantime, I tell this kid, we do have a flag in the class that you can pledge your allegiance to. And he looks around, he goes, oh, that one?
Drag Queen Story Time. It's happening in Canada and America, where some public schools and libraries invite drag queens, some dressed like horned demons, to read to young children.
Get back!
So the child has the right to be protected from the parents when the parents behave badly.
Up. A riot is an ugly thing. And I think that it is just about time that we had one!
Are you a mentally ill man in a dress, Health and Human Services Secretary?
Bringing us all together today to talk about mental health.
Who thinks that's a great idea?
That's not your mother, it's a man, baby!
If you subscribe to any of these obtuse points of view, and even if you don't know what that means, you are likely suffering from a nasty case of liberalism.
What?
Everybody knows you never go full retard.
Liberalism. Find a cure. And that's exactly what we're here to do with No Truth for You on IIB, the Insolence in Broadcasting Network, and with my book, No Truth for You, on Amazon. Expose the lies and the liars that are the liberals. In short, everything they say is a lie. Everything they believe is a fraud. In shorter, what kind of idiot believes this? We will journey inside the mind of the liberal. And as Groucho Marx noted, presumably about liberals,
Gentlemen, Ciccolini here may talk like an idiot and look like an idiot,
But don't let that fool you. He really is an idiot.
Your humble author and host notes, as we'll find in the book and on this show, and of course, across every screen and news story today, and all the yesterdays and all tomorrows, Groucho Marx and his brothers are the only good Marxes. The others are socialist, that is communist, same thing, losers, also synonymous.
For those of you in Rio Linda.
That means it's the same. The Marxes, Carl, his not lovely wife, Jenny.
Jenny, I'm not a smart man.
Richard and his stupid hair. All socialist communist losers named Marx. So here's the hypothesis. It appears to the learned psychology professional or anyone who's witnessed some dummy wearing 3 masks while driving alone in a Prius that liberals believe anything that sounds smart might save the planet or scares the out of them.
I told my 9-year-old daughter that I was going to be speaking with you, and I said, what do you think about the climate change? And she said, the earth is on fire and we're all going to die soon.
You know, when I was little, I used to pretend you weren't my mother.
Me too.
We endeavor now to test this hypothesis and, if true, explore the origin and the nature of the liberal worldview. You know the one where Donald Trump is literally Hitler? And we find ourselves in the twilight zone of liberalism, an alternate reality where what is a woman is a trick question, and getting mental health advice from a creepy guy in a dress is a fine idea.
I am very grateful to be celebrating Transgender Day of Visibility here at the White House.
And the first openly transgender 4-star officer.
I am proud to follow in my father's footsteps and 2 of my uncle's footsteps in serving this great nation.
Shut up!
And as we ponder, like KJP searching her binder to find Canada on a map.
NORAD, the NORAD is part of it's a what you call a coalition, a consortium,
pact of nations.
A pact,
okay.
exactly.
I think you've got a fine brain.
And so that's why we were able to do that. Again, we didn't do it on our own. We did it clearly in step with Canada.
Or Kamala trying to find her underwear after a job interview. We wonder why liberals love the lies and the liars, ask if this all might be connected, and even dare to hope to find a cure. So we begin by exploring the demonstrably reasonable assertion that everything liberals say is a lie and everything liberals believe is a fraud. Why do liberals believe the dumbest lies and worship the idiot liars? Why do liberals love big lies, little lies, dumb as Kamala lies, and one can reasonably assume believe white lies are racist? And why do liberals introduce unsolicited and remarkably obtuse opinions, utterly absent of self-reflection, yet full of unearned arrogance and extra helpings of snark and condescension, with profound stuff like, I follow the science, so every time I get COVID, I get vaccinated again to make sure it's working.
Anyone can still get COVID-19. Dr. Anthony Fauci tested positive for it today. Dr. Fauci is fully vaccinated, has been boosted twice.
You're saying that for ages 16 to 24 among males who take the COVID vaccine, their risk of myocarditis is less than people who get the disease.
That is my understanding, sir.
That is not true.
Vaccinations work.
Is it opposite day already?
I hate fascists, and anyone who doesn't wear a mask should be locked up in a camp with the other Nazis.
To get vaccinated, to wear masks, screw your freedom.
I'm progressive, so I'm rational and compassionate. So anyone denying 4-year-olds transitioning or drive-through abortions better have some Kevlar handy.
Like a pack of enraged clowns.
Oh, he's bleeding. Yo. Hey, medic! He's bleeding.
If someone was raped and she gave birth and she decided to kill her 3-year-old child.
When I was in line at Starbucks on my iPhone, I got 19 likes for my scorching tweet owning Elon Musk about how capitalism is stupid.
I very much disagree with that.
I'm LGBTQ, so I'm tolerant and believe all love is love, except for straight white guys who should die. Also, I'm a girl. When I put a guy dressed as a little girl on all the Bud Light bottles and the company lost billions 2 seconds later, those jerks on the board gave me a paid vacation because patriarchy keeps women down.
Well, that's because you're an idiot.
The groundbreaking works, the No Truth for You show, and the book, number 14 million on the New York Times bestseller list, possibly since Amazon won't allow me to promote it and NYT won't review it. Weird. Anyway, this show and that book, undeniably rivaling Kamala Harris's deep thoughts about deep space, endeavors to analyze, explain, and perhaps without a mandate, vaccinate against liberal pathologies, feeding why liberals lie about everything, believe every lie without hesitation, circumspection, or possibility of reconsideration, and why mostly peaceful progressives burn down anything challenging their devotion to believing such ridiculous bullshit. We seek answers to the most important questions of man, woman, and the purple-haired dummy who thinks that either of those can have a penis. But not Adam Kinzinger. Nobody believes that.
You know, you talk about the impact of that day.
Are you shitting me?
But you guys won. You guys held.
Just find your center. Maybe it's in your vagina.
Here's a short list of lies that liberals love to believe. Masks save lives and smell great. Vaccines that don't vaccinate are vaccines. Donald Trump is literally Hitler, and liberals literally know what literally means.
I don't think it means what you think it means.
The Constitution is a self-help book on white supremacy. What is a woman is a trick question. A woman can have a penis. Brian Stelter can have a penis and not just look like one.
You're cracking me up.
Black Lives Matter cares more about black lives than real estate portfolios. Joe Biden did not use his young daughter as a loofah.
I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
Barack Obama is not Jesus in mom jeans. Mar-a-Lago is a favorite FBI vacation spot. Planned Parenthood is a much better name than End Parenthood. 4-year-old kids should choose if they're a well-hung Barbie or G.I. Joe in a cocktail dress.
I receive attention just for being myself on a daily because being queer, being non-binary.
Run up there with the big dogs. Girls, come on. Leave the saving of the world to the men.
Kids can consent to anything but pizza.
Footage surfaced of a drag queen performing in front of infants. Yes, infants. The vision is so shocking, but these are grown adults in bondage gear or in G-strings.
I was medically transitioned from ages 13 to 16. At age 15, I asked to remove my breasts.
So, first of all, I'm transgender. That is fine. I'm very happy and silly. There you go.
None of us were going to be men. We were fleeing from the uncomfortable feeling of becoming women. I was unknowingly physically cutting off my true self from my body, irreversibly and painfully.
We continued to buy him boys' clothes, yet at home we only wore his sisters. And Eduardo asked me, does this mean I get to be a girl all the time now? And that's when I realized the mistake we made. Today, we're undoing that mistake with Eduardo's gender reveal.
I'm a girl!
I really didn't understand all of the ramifications of any of the medical decisions I was making. I will never be able to breastfeed a child. I have blood clots in my urine.
What's your favorite thing about yourself?
I'm transgender.
I am unable to fully empty my bladder. I do not yet know if I am capable of carrying a child to full term. Children cannot consent.
Super spreader event is not a Kamala job interview technique. My Body, My Choice abortion celebrations are great places to bring your kids to teach them about female empowerment and irony. Nicole Hannah-Jones knows that slavery began in 1619, but forgot the BC.
Yeah, next time maybe do a little research.
Dreams of My Father was not originally titled Barack. Total Bolshevik. Electric cars run on magic. Nancy Pelosi's stock portfolio runs on magic too. Nancy Pelosi's face can't run at all. Well, that's true. Hunter Biden is a fine blow artist. Again, technically true. Okay. From rainbows and unicorns to the inevitable bloody aftermath of liberal utopia wet dreams, from snarky late night talk shows blossoming into screaming Mimi sucker punches. From hope and change, yes we can, infantilizing pandering, to dox and destroy extremely unattractive Twitter shock troops, joined in battle to hunt down and ruin the lives of anyone who doesn't genuflect before team groupthink.
I need to be here.
I'm sorry, I am a woman.
Liberalism is metastasizing, relentlessly feeding on the scared, the weak, and the galactically stupid. The body politique is ravaged by liberalism and tumorous growths expanding like Hillary's pantsuit with every shot of mass formation psychosis boosters injected into the zeitgeist and every gleefully accepted jab of Pfizer goo into the bloodstream. Other bodies aren't faring well either. From the poor fella getting mauled by a herd of obese health enthusiasts at Trader Joe's because his soiled COVID diaper fell below his nose, to the lady swimmers losing every swim meet to some gentleman who just decided he's a lady too.
His critics say she has an unfair physical advantage over the other swimmers.
No shit!
Like Leah Thomas's broad shoulders and packed Speedo plunging into the women's pool, this cautionary tale is a deep dive into the twisted, malnourished, underdeveloped, sociopathic hive mind of Democrats and the soulless, elitist, tyrannical thug pathology at the heartless heart of liberal loserdom. Sure, it's a run-on sentence, but you better run because they're coming for you too. Perhaps a little something from the rarefied air of a privileged few will provide some insight. See if you can guess who this alleged lady is in an essay I wrote for her called I Victim. When I was First Lady of the United States... Okay. When I was First Lady of the United States and Barack was elected president for the second time, my endless travels, photo shoots, magazine covers, and media praise, insisting that I'm the smartest, prettiest woman in history, plus drowning in Hollywood swag and billions of dollars, confirmed what I've always known. America is an irredeemably racist and sexist country, full of bigots bent on oppressing me. Lady Michelle. Lady Michelle. How about this one? Entitled, perfectly, I Ingrate, with some words of gratitude from another childish role model for children and other libs. As a bonus, like the former First Lady, this lovely entitled ingrate is yet another beneficiary of the unfortunate stomach-churning redefinition of model.
Better get a bucket, I'm gonna throw up.
Sexy can be coming through you.
Like Woman of the Year, past decathlon winner, and previous male, man, person, Bella, guy, the lovely Miss Megan is also undeniably stunning and brave. When I was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom for overtaking Rosie O'Donnell for the highest paid angry lesbian,
I'm going to the fucking White House.
And my inequitably underpaid professional ball bouncing team that nobody watches was losing to middle school boys awaiting the other balls to drop.
Here's a turnover. Jarvis, there it is.
Now, it's taking the bras off the debutantes from the back. This is a particularly difficult event for most of the twits.
Game over. 12-0.
I knew America was a hateful place of bigots and oppressors, keeping me down to 6 Bentleys and 40 servants. Yes, that's the lovely and talented Megan Rapinoe, Team Hate USA. Also, why do liberals try so desperately to look and sound the same as everyone else in their tribe? Same glasses, same hair, same pantsuit for AOC and Adam Kinzinger. Same condescending NPR authoritative, embarrassingly childlike tone, with every infantile repeating of the imbecilic Democrat script.
Former Representative Liz Cheney calls her new book Oath and Honor. It's both a memoir and a warning.
And why, on the lower end of economies and intellects, do liberals attack helpless victims like convoys of Christine Ballsy Fords, built like the Griswold family truckster, but less believable?
Brett groped me and tried to take off my clothes. He had a hard time because he was very inebriated and because I was wearing a one-piece bathing suit underneath my clothing.
Imagine that director telling me I'm overacting in the first scene and I don't know what I'm saying.
For the most outstandingly lame acting job by a dame for Worst Actress, the Razzie goes to...
He was going to rape me. I tried to yell for help. When I did, Brett put his hand over my mouth to stop me from yelling. This is what terrified me the most and has had the most lasting impact on my life.
I think you should know this. You're a horrible actress. Thank God I don't have to hear her voice anymore.
On a Supreme Court rape train conductor, or Jussie Smollett on a Subway sandwich? Why do they drive by shoot like Chicago gangbangers on a Sunday drive? Bill Clinton on a Sunday dress? Or Alec Baldwin on a movie set?
1 in a trillion shot, and the gun was in your hand.
You totally did it, dude!
Well, the trigger wasn't pulled. I didn't pull the trigger.
So you never pulled the trigger?
No. I would never point a gun at anyone and pull a trigger at them, never.
I totally believe you, dude!
The latter enjoy fantastic hair, so that might explain something. Unfortunately, any explanation that might clarify the affirmative action glass ceiling breakthroughs of Karine Jean-Pierre, whose only preparation for press conferences is doing her hair, waxing philosophical about energy policy's effect on dry shampoos of U.S. geopolitical adversaries, or Sideshow Bob, or Kamala's rhetorical wizardry when realizing that space is big.
Exploring the unknown. You're gonna literally see the craters on the moon with your own eyes.
Full retard.
Seems unlikely. We stop to note, stopping the spread does not necessarily mean a chastity belt for Kamala. And why do libs attack in husky mobs of Mensa rejects to shrink brilliantly in unison? Hey ho, frontal lobes have got to go. Say hey, sit. Anyway. And throw slurs and rocks and piles of Amber Heard's foreplay feces like gaggles of homely short bus Bette Midler, Ron Perlman spawn. On the Upper East Side of the spectrum, why do liberals engage in similarly comprised group thuggery and throngs of COVID mandate lovers, raining pain down upon the maskless and the vaxless?
Well, that's up to them. They can tell me to leave if they want.
You're an asshole. I hope your mother gets sick and dies. And your kids too.
You hope people die?
I hope your kids do because they should have a mask on.
You told my kids stop.
Good go. You're an ass.
You made the little girl cry.
I want you to be nice.
Huh? You made the little girl cry.
Yeah. They should wear masks.
There is just no evidence that masks, make any difference.
Duh.
Fighting in the name of body autonomy, health, and possibly irony. Why do we find BLM anti-white hordes pounding racism as anti-racism into the hearts and minds and skulls of melanin-challenged?
It's the sickening moment a man is kicked in the head during another night of chaos in Portland. He lies unconscious and bleeding in the street.
Overnight growing national unrest.
Or Antifa fascism, expressed as anti-fascism sucker punches, among the growing list of hysterical hypocrisies, bloodying the battlefield with ludicrous virtual signals of moral and intellectual superiority.
Not only protesters walking now, but they have several cars that have sort of joined the protest as well. And it's now just sort of a merry caravan. It has been entirely peaceful, sometimes angry, but entirely peaceful.
I don't think it means what you think it means.
Bottle thrown, but for the most part, they have been very, very peaceful. They haven't been destroying anything.
You serious?
Of course, it's no contest for hygienic superiority. Sanitizing away the stink of liberalism can take a 3-hour hot shower with an angry loofah or an entire afternoon of Thomas Sowell. Just ask anyone who's been downwind of NYT Docs Queen Maggie Haberman or Michael Moore, slowing down to stuff a hefty bag of Taco Bell wrappers into the Chick-fil-A drive-thru window on his way to Dairy Queen. They smell. It's too bad literal Hitler and AOC, those famous Democrat socialists, never tried to wash that socialism out of their fantastic hair. Or Bernie Sanders, who still can't get the stench of communism out of his corduroy jacket, the one he wore on his honeymoon in Moscow.
Glory to the great Soviet people, the builders of communism.
Sanders traveled to the Soviet Union in 1988, and the trip doubled as what he called, quote, a very strange honeymoon.
We went to a theater in Yaroslavl, which was absolutely beautiful, had 3 separate stages, including a puppeteer area.
A journalist confronted him again at the airport with reporting by the Associated Press of dilapidated, unsanitary living conditions and food shortages in Yaroslavl.
That there was no hot water and no food? I didn't notice.
Did you see the memo about this?
People are lining up for food. That's a good thing.
You colossal idiot.
The infantilized brains of adult libs have been scrambled and vacuumed up like an aborted clump of cells, sometimes referred to as a baby, and swallowed hook, line, and stupid by anyone who brings their kids to a My Body, My Choice rally. Seriously. Why do liberals believe wearing 3 masks while alone in a Prius does anything more than provide a festering petri dish environment for disease? Why do liberals believe that a vaccine that doesn't provide protection against disease, previously referred to as vaccinate, is a vaccine?
Fucking idiots. Serve no goddamn purpose.
Nice manners, babe.
And why do they worship every word Lord Fauci the Impaler has to say anyway, as he cashes big pharma checks paid for by you, the useful idiot? And you bend over and grab your cankles to take a shot or 2 or 5 of stuff, which the not very longitudinal studies already show far more risk than reward. Death.
All right, that's bad. Okay. All right, important safety tip. Thanks.
Anyway, because unlike COVID never killing healthy people, COVID vaccines do. As measured in the spike in excess deaths, about 20 million since the cure was developed at warp speed, and many of you are lining up to jab your toddler. Side note, excess deaths is the best euphemism since the lost city of Atlantis was said to be under the weather. That's a good joke. No need to worry, though, as we'll be allowed to see the vaccine adverse effects data in 75 years, per the held harmless deal Pfizer cut with the government. Trump's government, unfortunately. Why do libs believe that fake meat is anything but impossibly bad artificial everything poison patties of processed mung? And how does anyone believe cow farts are an existential threat? And what kind of child intellect would believe destroying cattle production, meat protein, the thing that made cavemen and cave ladies' brains grow a bunch, to replace with vegan tumor steaks is for the good of humanity? And why not trump it at least as forcefully, for consistency, Anna Navarro and Whoopi Goldberg's equally troublesome Bovinesque methane expulsions at the View's dessert trough.
Excuse me?
Yeah, whoa.
Hold on for a
You stay classy.
Why can't liberals understand that the uber-processed GMO garbage inflates Bill Gates' man boobs and eugenics dreams in direct ratio to meatless meat destroying their limp, lumpy bods and zombified brains?
I'm literally about to fucking kill myself.
Given that the addled brain of the adult liberal is unable to comprehend that poison is bad for you, it's likely too much for any to consider that well-managed grazing production systems allow livestock manure, containing carbon and nitrogen, to re-enter the soil, fostering increased plant growth and sequestering more carbon. Speaking of idiots, did you ever notice the CO2 generator chugging away in the corner of every greenhouse that has green stuff thriving inside? Anyway, why do liberals so proudly peacock electric cars and believe without a second of circumspection that their magic carpet's actually manufactured from toxic everything?
You say, and I'm not polluting. And I say, where do you get the electricity from? And they don't know. They don't know that most of America's electricity comes from fossil fuels.
Well, that's because you're an idiot.
And those EV rides and the libs buying them are strip mine beneficiaries of slavery enthusiasts, enemies of humanity, and even evil oil.
More electric cars will hardly dent oil use.
Mining equipment to get the copper to build the electric cars is all oil-fired.
Ingredients in batteries are mined in places that enslave people and use child labor.
An army of children are at the heart of the mining production, wearing no shoes and in the most wretched conditions.
And why do eco-Nazi environmentalist cultists believe that their unaffordable, super-subsidized miracles of unobtainium?
This is why we're here. Unobtainium.
You have to mine somewhere on Earth 500,000 pounds of minerals and rock to make one battery.
We must mobilize the market.
Current commitments are not enough.
We need public money, we need private money, we need philanthropic money.
$131 trillion between now and 2050 is one answer.
You serious?
EVs are not magically powered for free as they plug into taxpayer pockets.
Those who drive electric cars might be noticing you're not going as far as you thought you would.
You have an EV.
Yeah.
An electric car sparked this fire that destroyed their home. And it wasn't even their car.
Like 97 degrees the other day.
That's hot.
The freezing temps are zapping the juice out of electric cars, leaving drivers stranded. A little cold weather turned a supercharging station into an expensive junkyard.
Dead Teslas packed the parking lot at this Tesla supercharging station.
Somehow, those effete elite can't comprehend that their virtual signaling electric cars are produced and powered by petroleum. Oil, word on the street, also made from oil, is the common denominator element of all things civilization. One does not dare to dream that one day liberal champions of the environmentalist movement will clue into the reality that EVs are anything but a cash grab for the tyrant grifter class.
Climate change is a fact.
Maybe they'll get it when the government shuts off their Tesla for unpaid taxes or past due voluntary donations to the state.
You know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later because they own this fucking place. It's a big club. And you ain't in it.
And how about those eternal flaming EV batteries?
EVs can be especially dangerous when they catch fire.
That vehicle's in your garage and it's charging and this problem occurs, will likely take the car and the garage and potentially the home.
That's hot. Lithium-ion batteries are extremely volatile and incredibly challenging to put out.
These fires burn hotter, they burn longer, they take more water.
That's hot.
Piling up in toxic heaps of adamantium pus to finally decompose just after Wolverine's pelvis becomes unicorn fertilizer. Same goes for wind farms, solar, and all of their high-cost, low-IQ, taxpayer-subsidized scams du jour. On a related note, Why is Nancy Pelosi's stock portfolio the stuff of Warren Buffett's wet dreams and Michael Moore's equally moist visions of a second lunch at an all-you-can-eat Twinkie buffet? Why do liberals believe the wizards of lies, purveyors of deceit, and those occasionally prone to genocide?
Because I represent science.
Why do liberals continue to enthusiastically feed those insatiable appetites of really awful people lusting for money and power, fame and fortune, and sleepovers with children?
I certainly made a huge mistake, not only meeting him in the first place, but I met with him a number of times. He was a bad person.
Bill Gates says he regrets his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, I shouldn't have had dinners with him. No, I had dinner with him, and that's all.
What kind of infantile intellect believes transparently and pathetically presented lies as hope and change, truth?
This was the moment when the rise of the oceans began to slow and our planet began to heal.
Even as any attempts to assuage the evildoers only seems to inspire more to join the perpetual parade of fungible tyrants and other NIH directors. Your compromised immune system and blood turning into linguine, brought to you by Pfizer.
Myocarditis occurred at a rate of, somewhere around 4 cases per million per year. So what came out of this was a false talking point that was carried forward by the American College of Cardiology and the government agencies that said that COVID itself causes more myocarditis than the vaccines. And nothing could be further from the truth.
The only conclusion one can reasonably come to is please get vaccinated.
Now, with the vaccines, we're seeing this pattern of these vaccines and then cardiac arrest. There's about 800 papers in the peer-reviewed literature, implicating the vaccines with myocarditis.
The only pandemic we have is among the unvaccinated, and they're killing people.
Our agencies came out pretty quickly in 2021 and said the vaccines cause myocarditis. US FDA did.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
It was so well known in myocarditis that exercise or the surge of adrenaline could be a trigger for cardiac arrest. We immediately took people with myocarditis out of sports or athletic competition. That's actually in all the guidance.
From football to lacrosse to baseball.
If you're vaccinated and boosted, you are highly protected.
And also, happy opposite day.
What's been really incredible, though, after our agencies told us that the vaccines cause myocarditis, and we know with myocarditis athletes cannot exercise, then the athletic leagues, many of them, including the US NFL and others, they mandated the vaccine.
Sudden collapse. This is what sudden cardiac arrest in an athlete looks like. After his arrest, his arms go up with seizure-like activity. All the signs of sudden cardiac arrest. The face of sudden cardiac arrest. Collapse, also unresponsive, eyes open, brief seizure activity in his leg.
Libs will defend even the most ridiculous lies, such as 2020 was the most secure election in history, or COVID vaccinations are going great, except for the bodies piling up at the morgue.
Bring out your dead! Here's one. Ninepence. I'm not dead. What? Nothing. Here's your ninepence. He says he's not dead. Yes, he is. I'm not. He isn't? Well, he will be soon.
Get vaccinated.
Getting better. No, you're not. You'll be stone dead in a moment.
Restrictions like social distancing or physical distancing or shelter-in-place type orders have been found to be effective in some areas.
You think I'll go for a walk? You're not fooling anyone, Look.
Health authorities to be promoting it and stopping people from getting on the treadmill. That's
I don't know if they were
literally were
discouraging
closing
people from going. Yes, they were closing gyms,
but keeping liquor stores open.
But keeping liquor stores
and
open.
weed dispensaries.
Isn't there something you can do?
Get vaccinated.
Thanks very much.
True believers they are, libs buy the lies without a moment of circumspection, an ounce of critical thinking, or a 30-second blackout from choking on a double scoop of irony. Imagine bringing your little girl to a My Body, My Choice abortion celebration.
I don't think it's killing a baby. I don't. I mean, it's a little bit killing a baby. It's a little bit. It's 100% killing a baby. It's totally killing a whole baby.
My body, my choice!
But I think that women should be allowed to kill babies.
Or joining in the body positivity parade of double-wide rascal scooters.
This sucks. I feel so ridiculous.
I don't like to be on the scooter.
Rather than debate, put down the New York Times or turn off the airport news channel for a moment and take a breath to listen for an original thought to clear the debris. Libs prefer to reflexively attack logic, reason, and civility in often violent, always uncivilized fashion.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
The 3rd precinct of the Minneapolis Police Department, on fire.
You gotta be ready to throw a punch. You have to be ready to throw a punch.
Donald Trump, I think you need to go back and punch him in the face.
That I thought he should have punched him in the face.
Feel like punching him.
I'd like to take him behind the gym if I were in high school.
If we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
No, I wish we were in high school. I could take him behind the gym.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
Blasting better heads on boils.
It has been entirely peaceful.
Take him out now.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
This is just a warning to you Trumpers. Be careful. Walk lightly. And for those of you who are soldiers, make them pay.
Yeah, and you're ugly.
In an affront to fighting for the liberty for which liberalism once stood, today's liberal fights by unleashing mobs of neo-Jacobin jackasses, anti-fascist Antifa-fascists, anti-racist BLM racists, and worse, profoundly grotesque privileged white suburban harpies.
You need to get out. You need to get out.
No, I don't.
You need to get out.
Ew. Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
I need some muscle over here.
To shriek nursery rhymes, including crowd favorite, "Hate has no home here."
They released images of a man who threw a brick at an officer's helmet. That's naughty behavior.
Hate has no home here, as they mostly peacefully drag you, your children, and your only occasionally vicious pet bunny to the gallows. The irony is as thick as half-ton Democrat trust fund Governor J.B. Pritzker mandating health mitigations, even though he can't see little J.B. without standing on a funhouse mirror.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Kindly note, we'll be using terms like liberal, leftist, loser, Democrat, imbecile, peahat, harpy, neo-Jacobin, and demonic pachyderms and pantsuits interchangeably, since the twisted aficionados of illiberal liberalism are as fungible as jackals on a dough, Clinton on an intern, or Rosie O'Donnell on a cheesecake. See what happens when the never cool kids who couldn't get a date in high school take over?